Well, I'm back at it again. And I want to do this one personally for all of those who still seem to have a difficulty understanding how to actually grow citrus trees, especially in containers. This is something I know all too well. So let me share with you step by step of exactly how to do it again. Now, there's a few ways you could grow citrus trees in containers. In fact, the ways are not the methods in itself. It's actually the soil amendments. Hi, I'm Martin Brichot, and I'm a master gardener and a licensed botanist. And I want to share with you how to not only grow citrus trees in containers or in the ground, if that's what you choose. But on this channel, I share with people the simple, easy tips of how to get things going in your garden and how to make sure your trees bear fruit in its second year. That's right, in its second year. We all know that dwarf varieties usually bear fruit very rapidly. But what if you have a semi-dwarf? What if you have a standard and you're growing it in a container? Could a standard be grown in a container? Of course it can, provided the container has enough size to accommodate its vigorous, large root mass. So what are we gonna do today? Well, first thing first, I wanna talk to you a little bit about this. Now, this soil here, it's a soil that is made by E.B. Stone. I've spoken about this soil on my channel quite often. And it's an azalea soil, okay, that's made for acid-loving plants. Acid-loving plants, that's the key. Why? Because citrus trees love a lower pH between 4.5 and as high up to about 6.0. I normally like to keep mine between 5 to about 5.5. Now, this is not any sort of soil. You have in-ground planting and containers. This soil will accommodate both. If you're going to grow in the ground, you're going to mix this with your native soil. 2-to-1 ratio, and in some cases, 3-to-1 ratio. But if you grow it in a container, you don't need any native soil in your containers because native soil is very heavy and you want your container to be somewhat portable, okay? This is 100% natural and organic. And what I love about this particular brand here, if you're not satisfied with it, 100% satisfied, you can take the item label, cut it out, take your receipt, and they'll refund the difference to you. That's a good thing. That means the company backs up the product that they put out. Now, the bags here are reusable, reducing our carbon footprint. It's got its logo all over it. So it's reusable. So if you carefully take a box cutter or scissors and cut across the bag itself, you could actually reuse these bags for many other purposes. I'm going to share with you folks coming up in a future video how exactly recyclable these bags are. I'm going to show you what I do with them, or shall I say what we do with them in my home. You're going to be surprised. But nevertheless, aren't you surprised when you come to this channel? Now, let's talk about the ingredients here inside this bag. The ingredients are aged fir bark, aged redwood, peat moss, pumice, feather meal, bat guano, kelp meal, and wetting agent, which is Yucca shidagera, okay, let me spell that for you, S-C-H-I-D-I-G-E-R-A, saponin. If you don't understand that big word, I'll have it in the description below this video. I suggest for your own purpose, go ahead and look at the word, research it, and you'll find out that it's not harmful to you at all. It's a good thing, okay? Now, when you hear about the aged fir bark and the aged redwood, that's simply letting you know that those are products that will degrade over time, but they're good for adding a porous mix to the soil amendments itself. It's going to help the water drain away from the roots fast. In other words, you don't want your citrus trees at any time sitting in wet, soggy water. That can cause a quick death. And believe me, I haven't killed one yet. So What do I want to exactly talk about really quick with this? When it comes to growing citrus, this is all you need. This is all you need. Yeah, you heard it here first. You don't have to use anything else. This is a 20-gallon container here. And this container is not 15 gallons. It's 20 gallons. But it's made by a wonderful company that I like so much called growpro.net. Let's see if you folks could see that. Could you see that at all? Is it difficult? Yeah? All right. Tell you what, I'll put that link in the bottom also. You can go to that site, place in your zip code, and guess what? It will let you know the retailers that will carry this in your area or can purchase it for you, provided you prepay the retailer. Oh yeah, you can get these in your area. You can get them all over the United States for that fact. Okay? It's better to go to the retailer than to order it directly from the site, which I don't think they're doing anymore, because if you did, the shipping would be astronomical. So you could use just this in your citrus and you're fine, because it has all the elements necessary. The reason why you want to use this soil here, EB Stone Organics. Now look closely. Azaleas and carmelians for acid-loving plants. Potted and planting. Potting or planting. Remember I told you folks that I use a soil that can do both? Yeah. Provided you add some, native soil and whatnot. This soil you can just plant your citrus in. Now, when you hear me talk about adding other amendments such as pathway bark, half planting mix and half azaleas mix, that's all I use in a container. If I want a more porous mix, I'll bring in another product by EB Stone called Cactus and Succulent Mix. You folks getting a good look at that? Take a good look at that. These two products, I'll make sure I place them below so you can understand them, read them, and I'll have a better picture of these in the video itself, okay? I promise you that. Oops, can't make promises. But I tell you what, my word is my bond, and that's a guarantee. And you've heard it here first. So what are we gonna plant today? Well, here's what we're gonna plant. We're gonna plant this specific tree here. Currently, it's in an 8.75 gallon. This tree is called, you ready for this? A Pomelo Valentino. Yeah, this tree is a grapefruit. That's what they like to categorize it as, but it's a Pomelo Valentino or Valentino Pomelo, potato. You get my point, right? Now this tree is being grown on a semi-dwarf rootstock. You ready for this? This tree is a cross between a mandarin and a blood orange. Highly addictive, succulent, and overly juicy. In other words, it's very messy to eat because of the amount of juice that it produces. It's great for juicing, and it has a lot of health benefits to it. You have to check on the link below in the description of this video to find that out. You already know what blood oranges do. You know what mandarins do. Imagine combining them with the pomelo. Absolutely amazing. Now these can be grown in zone 9 and above, but it also can be grown in colder climates, provided you take some little extra care and keep it warm in the winter time. They're very sweet. So sweet that sugar itself can actually be made from it. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? I got some things coming up on my channel because, after all, these are key elements to take it into the off-grid lifestyle. If you need sugar, you want to get it naturally. And if you can get it through here, sugar cane, wherever, hey, that's natural. Maple trees, that's even better. Okay? So this specific tree here has a low acid taste. It's very sweet and has a slight tart in the outer taste. That's what I love about it. But can we grow it in a container? Can we? Absolutely we can. And we're going to put it in this 20 gallon. And we're gonna leave it there for some time. Now I will tell you this, at some point that 20 gallon is not gonna be enough to hold these, because these are some pretty nice sized fruit. They're not big like the huge grapefruit, but they're a good size and they're very top heavy. So it will at some point need to be, up potted into a 40 gallon. Now, one of the things you need to know, these ripen around Valentine's Day. And you know what's interesting about that? When you cut them open, they're shaped just like a heart. I was surprised. Now, any of you been with me long enough would have known I'd grown a pomelo on my rooftop terrace many, many years ago, but not this specific cultivar. Let's get moving. So right now, what I'm gonna do is move this to the side. I'm gonna look at this mix, and what I wanna do is I wanna see, am I gonna get that good loose without it clunking up. See, it didn't clunk up there. Look at that. It's still pretty loose, even when I squeeze it as hard as I can. That's very important. Okay, now I've already prepared something. My water and my cardboard. Because this is the larger container, I got me some bigger sheets here. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm gonna go ahead, and I want you to see for yourself, nothing in the container. I'm gonna go ahead and start laying this in layers. And let's see. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and utilize this entire, take off that end there, and lay this down as well. So we got a nice base. I'll go ahead and take these few little strips and lay them down in there too. 1, 2. And what this is going to allow is going to hold the soil back so it doesn't escape through the holes as I water, and it's going to provide a nice carbon for the soil. So, sorry I had to check my camera just briefly here. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to go ahead and start filling this. Be careful. If you're like me, you don't like spilling everywhere. So we're just going to go ahead and fill this in. Okay, in fact, wouldn't it be wiser if I brought this closer to the barrel? Absolutely. And I'm just going to fill this up, and I'm going to sort of eye it when it comes. Oh, look at me. I'm hitting the sides and I'm spilling anyways. But before I go on, the thing I want to do is I want to come over here. I want to get down there. Actually, we're going to add a little bit more because we want the feeder roots to sit slightly above the soil line. Oh, hey, little hummingbird, you back? How you doing? Okay, let's try it again. That should be about right. So the first thing I want to do before I plant this tree inside this container, I'll be right back. Now there's 2 types of fertilizers you can use for your citrus tree. You can use this product by E.B. Stone, and it's called Azaleas, Camellia, and Gardenia Food. And this is also made for acid-loving plants. The ratio of NPK is 5-5-3. That's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Or you could opt for this product that's formulated and made for both citrus and fruit trees. This is also by E.B. Stone, and this is a citrus and fruit tree fertilizer. The NPK is 733. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rock dust here, azomite, and I'm going to sprinkle it down there. If you folks have not gotten into azomite and understand how it is important to hurry up and get these trees well established, then you're losing out. That product is also in my Amazon affiliate link. You can click on it in the description below and go to my Amazon store where you can see all the products that I use in my garden. The great thing about using those products, well, they work for me for many years, and I get a little bit of support for the channel. Now, this is what I call, you ready for this? Mycorrhizae. I'm gonna just sprinkle a little bit there. Normally I sprinkle it directly on the roots, but I don't have to do that. I'll just put it right here because the tree will sit on top of it. The next thing I'm gonna do is I have to look at the tree. I have to look at the container. In fact, let me get something for you really quick. Now, the EB Stone product here calls for 1 tablespoon per 6 inches of pot. So let's measure from left to right. We have approximately 20. 6 divided into 20 is what? 3 times, because 6 times 3 is 18. So you have what? 3.2. So that'll be 3 tablespoons of fertilizer. Let's double check that. Now, when I do these things in a way that I'm breaking it down this way, I'm doing this for my audience that may have learning disabilities like myself. That doesn't mean we're dumb. Many of us are highly educated. Don't get it twisted. So it tells you here that if growing a container, 1 tablespoon for every 6 inches of pot diameter monthly. Remember, you're going to feed this monthly in the growing season from January through August. Okay? So let's go ahead and get 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to sprinkle that right on in there. Alrighty. Alrighty, let's get ready and plant this tree. Now, I personally brought this tree from the nursery last week, and I purposely allowed it to dry out so it'd be easier to take it out of the container. The other thing I'm going to do, if I can find my box cutter really quick here, I am going to cut these tags off in this small wooden stake for now, just so I can better position the tree, and it looks as though I'm able to get them off without any sort of hassle. Now I'm going to take this stick here, which looks as though it's broken off on the ends. So I do have another stick to cover it, and I'll make sure I get it in here. So we're going to try and take this out without, you know, losing too much soil. And there we are. Let's get this to the side for now. And let's get a closer look at the root structure here. Give me a second. I'll make sure this is inside the video. Alrighty, looks good. It's not root bound at all. And so when you see trees, you got to understand something. When it comes to nursery, this tree here should have still been in a 5-gallon and would have cost less. But what they do is they up pot it to a bigger pot, thus manipulating you into the new price. So I'm just going to gently massage the roots. I'm not going to do much to them because there's no need to. They're going to go ahead and separate and find their way through the soil simply because of, well, what's there. Let's sit this down and see what happens here. So I want to, yeah, this is good. This is good. I'm going to break off the top of the soil here and loosen it up. Alrighty, now I see my feeder roots. Feeder roots are wonderful. They're showing and they're absolutely ready to be in their new home. These are feeder roots here. Okay, alrighty. So let's go ahead and backfill it. And we don't have to worry about positioning this tree because we just want to make sure it's straight up. Okay, alrighty. So we'll do some pounding here and there to get things done right. I did have my my mallet here. So let's go ahead and I may even have some soil left over. If you have any soil left over, that's what you use your bags for. Those recyclable bags, put your soil in there and store it away for another time or another tree. And there are some other uses for it. And those uses I'll share with you in an upcoming video on how to live very clean, low cost to no cost, and efficient. Now I'm gonna get this soil pushed down as best I can to get rid of any air pockets. Very important, okay? Be sure that when you're done planting your tree, you go ahead and wash the leaves off. And the reason why you want to do that, just in case you have any other hidden egg sacs or bugs that is down in there. Alrighty? If you ever have your tree leaning, you want to pull it to the neutral position and hit that container and see how that soil will get into the cracks to make sure it's held up nicely. Now that I have it here, I'm actually going to raise it up even more. Now, what do? Don't take the tree back out. And don't take it out and add soil. Just lift the tree. Shake the root ball so the soil can go underneath the tree. And now I've just raised the tree up. Let's get it up some more. There we go. It's exactly what I wanted. Sweetie, is that my water? Can you run and get my water, please, and just sit it right here? Appreciate it, thank you. It's very hot out here, and I gotta make sure I stay hydrated. Very important. My Isha is inside preparing dinner. I'm looking forward to this one. Now, I actually got too much soil here, and if that happens, you can just simply bring it on out. Now, what I need is my mallet. So would you folks be so kind to allow me to escape for just a second? Of course, on video, it won't seem that way. Alrighty, I'm back. So let's get this mallet. Now remember, your soil is going to erode when you add water, but I'm going to add some more soil in here. Now, the first thing you want to do right away is go ahead and add your stake here. And you got to figure out which area you want the front to be. And to be honest with you, back here is the best area. You're going to put this about an inch away from the bottom of the trunk. That way you can tie it in there really, really good. Watch out. Be careful. Get a tight, firm grip. If you don't, you're going to get those splinters. And I get them constantly. Oh, boy. Now, oh, here's my black mallet. Gosh, black is just a wonderful color. It blends in with everything. Okay. Well, I do have some actual jute string. I actually bought a large package of it. So, let me do this really quick here. This will last me forever, literally. Isn't that wonderful? Just got to find out where the end is. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks good. I'm looking forward to using this. I'm going to be making some DIY bamboos, trellises that I can use in the food forest here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in here. And folks, stay with me, because then we're going to go ahead and water this in. Okay, there we are. There we go. Now I'm going to sit it back here on top of this crate and let it soak in. Be right back. Alrighty, let's go ahead and water it in and we'll be good to go. Matter of fact, before I do that, let me get some worm castings in here. You can never have enough worm castings. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this in. Okay, let's water it in. Now, a lot of you may ask, how long is this tree going to stay in this container? Well, it can stay here for about 2 years, possibly even 3. If it does get too large for the container, you'll be able to at least take it out of the container and do some root pruning. And that's going to be 1/3 of its roots that you're going to have to prune. Okay? So if you, as long as you keep that in mind, you'll be okay. All right? We're going to turn this on a slow drip right now. Going to situate this sort of somehow. There we go. And we'll leave it there. All right? Turn it up just a little bit more. Alrighty. That's all. I'm going to add bark when I'm done. And there you go. I planted it, and now I can give it to the sun and let the Creator give the increase. The sun, the weather, the environment, everything works in unison with each other. Until next time, I hope this was more simpler for you. You don't need all the other things. But if you want to save on soil, the other things come in hand. especially if you're looking for more drainage, because most soils are not suited to give you the drainage that you need for every particular plant. But EB Stone has stepped up his game. And since you folks know what I've used in my other containers, and you see what I've just used in this containers, well, you'll be part of the experiment. And this type of experiment will be called a longitudinal study, because we're going to have to do it over a year. So stick with me, stay with me, subscribe, like, and share this information so that others can have, well, what I've been able to accomplish here in the suburbs. Stay tuned. So you can see here that the pomelo is all planted, nice and snuggled into his new home, from an 8.75 gallon to a 20-gallon container. I've gone ahead and pre-moistened the soil and then went ahead and wet it completely through. And you can see the cardboard down here near the holes is perfect. It's perfect to hold back the soil. Let's go ahead and add his mulch really quick. And so now it's been mulched. Everything is perfect in this container. So now I have a beautiful, beautiful citrus tree, a palmetto, that's a cross between a mandarin and a blood orange. Wow, I have those other two in my yard as well. This is absolutely spectacular. Did I make it simple on you? Did I do a good job this time? Well, I hope so. And I want you folks to be successful in your food forest as well. You can only do that by following the instructions that I convey to you on my channel. From my heart to yours,